Rajneesh Jha, he's also one of our regular watchers, says Sehwag called Maxwell an 11 crore cheerleader when he was not performing. We all remember that.
Yeah.
Will similar principle be applied to Pant and Virat, or such harsh words are only for foreign players? Thoughts?
Harsh words for only foreign players. He will not say this to Pant or Kohli.
He'll be crucified if he
You
dares
agree?
say it to Kohli.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes, he
You
will
both
not
agree?
Yeah.
He will not come
my
out and
point,
say-
no, but he is saying, should they also be called cheerleaders as Maxwell was called?
I think what he's saying is that, you wouldn't actually think of saying anything like that to an Indian player.
No, he's also asking that Sehwag called Maxwell 11 crore cheerleader, right, when he was not performing.
Yeah, 2020.
Will similar principle be applied to Pant and Virat?
No, it
Are they
won't be.
also whatever so many crore worth cheerleaders is also the point.
Yeah,
No.
they're 15 to 17
But he's
crores.
saying that these two are also not playing.
Not playing.
they're not
well.
So
performing at all.
when you call a foreign player for not performing a cheerleader, will you have the courage to call a Virat Kohli and Pant also cheerleaders?
No.
That's the question.
No, they won't.
See,
No,
Sehwag
not they're asking. So firstly you have to say, are they cheerleaders?
See, I mean, first off, I thought the cheerleader analogy even for Maxwell was harsh because he was trying his best. Clearly wasn't doing well for him, but it's not like it was a lack of effort. So that criticism or the way he put it across, and that's typical Sehwag style. He
So
says a
you
lot
didn't
of
agree
things.
with Maxwell
I didn't
being a
agree with
cheerleader
that.
at
I didn't agree with the terminology. Yeah, he was underperforming, but I think you can put it in a better way. But I don't think there's going to be that much criticism for Indian players, especially known Indian players. Sehwag, to be fair, has criticized some.
Okay.
He criticized Gill.
So let's remove the terminology. Let us talk about. You're saying, and what Rajneesh is pointing out, that in our criticism as analysts, that could include us, former players, everyone, we are more soft on Indian players. We will not criticize them as much. But foreign players, will go ahead and criticize them.
Actually, that
Yes.
is that is very common with a lot of experts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They
So
are,
you think that
yeah,
is true
that
then?
bias is there. They are want to criticize the foreign players far more freely. Indian players don't go after so much.
Okay. Siri.
Yes, absolutely right. I agree with Shane. And in the words of MS Dhoni, nothing more to add in this.
So what Maxwell did that season, so Pant and Virat on the same level this
Same level.
season?
But are we hearing any kind of criticism? It's just that Virat
Virat
Kohli's
we have.
failures. I mean, no, it's
No,
like,
but nobody's talking about Virat.
It's like, see,
Let's hear it,
it's
huh?
like Virat is an emotion. Let us just support him. Support him. Support
So we
him.
are being soft on him.
Yes.
When I say we, the media, the players, everyone is being soft on Virat. We're not soft on foreign
But
players.
let me add a caveat to this. There are also articles floating around, which is a very minute minority, if I may say, that Virat Kohli should be axed. His T20
So then you're
time
not
is
being,
up.
so you're not being soft on him.
But only a very
No,
small
small
minority.
Okay, but you think majority are very
Very
soft
soft
on them.
on Virat,
Okay.
yes.
So you're saying that if a player of the caliber of Virat and the history of Virat was a foreigner and he did not perform, there will be much more criticism of him.
For sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, like in the sense, I have criticized everybody equally.
We're not talking about ourselves.
Miller,
No,
for
ourselves
example.
included,
No,
everyone.
I'm saying like from
Everyone.
Miller,
General,
everybody talked about how he's got 3 crores this season.
Yes.
Even for not performing for the last 6-7 seasons.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying you can call a lot of things, but Virat Kohli and Rishabh Pant also know they are under pressure. A lot of people, we might not see a lot of headlines in the newspapers or probably news packages on television, news stories on televisions regarding this. But on social media, people are calling them out, saying that Pant is not performing at all. Why take him to T20 World Cup? People are saying that Virat should
our
not be
channels
good.
also.
We see it in our chat only. Absolutely. So I am saying, irrespective of the player, whether they are performing or not performing, there'll be detractors if you're not performing.
But the thing is,
Always.
if
Always.
and again, bear in mind that certain individuals' words carry a lot more weight.
No, but that's just Sehwag doing Sehwag things. I'm saying he gave an example of Sehwag, but there'll be others who might be saying stuff in support of Maxwell also.
Yeah.
Like KP might have supported Maxwell back then, saying that he's still a great player. And by the way, even though he went through that rut, he was never let go from the Australian squad. He was let go after he struggled
badly
for
for
Australia
Australia,
also.
correct.
But then he came back into the side.
Look,
So, different
there was
things.
indirect criticism by Sehwag on Rohit Sharma. Indirect. He didn't directly criticize him and he used an analogy. Look how it backfired.
Yeah.
Yes, so see, any established player, if anybody goes out, either you have to have concrete, absolutely
You're not any
incriminating
style. You have just said that established players, if it's a foreigner, they will
They will
go
go,
after
yeah.
it, but Indian they will not.
They
So,
will not.
To be clear, established
Indian players. I will say established
You will
Indian
not go
players.
after. So there is this
Not in a
bias
hurry.
here.
Not in a hurry.
Okay, so let me look at just
That is
this
true.
example, just this particular example per se. I think there is a difference, and I don't agree with that comparison when you're comparing Virat Kohli and Rishabh Pant in the same manner as what Maxwell did at that time. I think what Maxwell was doing at that time, and we called him a cheerleader, while we may not agree with the terminology, I may not too, but I think at the end of the day it's criticism, so let's just keep it down to criticism. The choice of word could be different. But I think that criticism was valid there because he was playing very irresponsibly, right? Even at situation that demanded him to play a big inning, even at times where he was spoken to play some kind of inning, he couldn't care less. He said, this is me, this is Glenn Maxwell, this is how I play, to hell with the world, and this is what I will do, and I will go, right? So that was that. Can I have that same comparison to what Rishabh and Virat are doing? No, they're not finding form, but I don't think they're being irresponsible. So, and by the way, Sehwag said it while he was in the system at that time.
Yep.
He was part of that. So he's not saying it as an expert sitting outside as a commentator. He was part of Kings 11 at that time. He said it after the season had got over.
Yep.
So there is no comparison. So I don't think it's a fair comparison that you're saying, oh, because you called Maxwell a cheerleader or you criticized him at that time, why are no one criticizing them? Because two different scenarios completely. Now, to the other point, and I cannot disagree with the fact, as both of you have said, that yes, sometime with established Indian players, you are a bit more wary to criticize them. Also, a lot of it is got to do with the social media backlash that comes with it.
Yes.
So players are very, very careful. But in the same breath, I will also give you another example. Sometime it's also the impression that you carry, as in terms of how established and the kind of people or the person that you are. I'll give you another example. Take Kane Williamson right now, also going through a bad phase. Nobody is going to call him that. Why? Because it's how Kane Williamson has carried himself in international cricket.
Yeah, Mr.
So you'll
Nice
be a
guy,
bit
yeah.
soft. You cannot put Maxwell in the same bracket.
Yep.
Maxwell always played this, I couldn't care less kind of cricket, and so he came into criticism. And at that time, when the criticism came,
Some of it was valid at least.
yeah, and also he wasn't as big a player as he is today. Over the years, he's also. So that's why it happened easy. So in all players, while there is a slight sort of a bias, maybe to an Indian, but I don't think it's that stark. And if you're a very well-loved, established player globally, world over, people are going to be very, very soft on you. I'll also give you a Pakistan example, not on the IPL, but I remember there was criticism about Babar as well, saying that strike rate and things. And even there, the experts, when I was listening, they were far more sensitive towards what Babar would do because of the player that he is or the kind of potential he has. So, I mean, this comparison is slightly unfair, and to say that because an Indian player hai, so Virat ko nahi criticize kar rahe and Maxwell ko bahut easily karte, I think that is also a bit harsh and unfair on the media as well as.
See, because already when Virat Kohli got out, first ball today as well.
Yeah.
What was the first immediate reaction that came from I'll just quote Daniel White. Daniel White is a big fan of Virat Kohli. She said, this particular phase, you just cannot define Kohli's contributions in the past 10 years. This is just a phase. That is how it has been painted now.
Yeah.
It is just
so she doesn't have to bother about now.
Yeah.
So see, that's what I'm saying. So it's not just Indian former players being sympathetic towards Indian players. There's a foreign player who has no skin in the game, in the sense she's not the broadcaster that I'll lose out on money if I criticize him or something. She is not, I don't think she'd care much about social media hate coming if she was to criticize. I think she did it because of the love and reverence you have built up over the years.
And she and Kohli have actually been pretty pally later on as well. He gave her a bat and everything. That's a very common story.
If you look at some of the past players in the IPL, let's say Matthew Hayden or Michael Hussey, some greats. If they also went through a bad phase, I don't think you would have someone like Virender Sehwag saying that that kind of cheerleader because of what they've contributed internationally. Maybe because Maxwell's not that level, and that's why that criticism came his way.
But remember, we are also very, very critical of players who are just upcoming. We place them under even bigger scanners if you have to look at it.
And we are even more critical of players that play this dashing cricket.
We are.
So, again, as I said, Virender Sehwag even though he performed at I think that he came in for that criticism much quicker.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's take two players as an example, and I covered Indian cricket at the time. Let's put Rahul Dravid and Virendra Sehwag, right?
Yeah.
Both very successful Test batsmen. But we always had this longer rope for Rahul.
Always.
Because you love him the way because you're convinced that, listen, if he's getting out, he's not being careless, he's
Yeah.
trying his best, he's just going through a bad phase, right?
Correct.
But
Yes.
Sehwag would
correct. You will
exactly.
see Sehwag,
Why did he play that shot?
Yeah,
What
he's a
was the need
useless
for
player.
him to play that shot?
He's not serious.
Yeah.
He's not this. And so that's the difference between a Maxwell
Or
and
that's the
Virat
difference
Kohli.
between flamboyance also.
Correct.
Sometimes it
That's-
works for you, sometimes it
Because see,
doesn't.
That's the
Sehwag,
price he paid.
Pant's template is more based on Sehwag. Just go for it and be aggressive. And remember, when it comes off in a spectacular manner. That 89 that he hit in Brisbane.
No, but everybody, by the way, when Sehwag said it, a lot of people said, but you also used to play the same way. You would play carefree cricket.
Yeah.
I remember those comments and people were like, why is Sehwag pointing fingers at somebody?
Remember this
when
is-
he is following the exact same template that Sehwag used to
Remember,
follow.
this is the same Virendra Sehwag who John Wright actually took by the
Yeah.
collar and said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Because he threw away his wicket in an easy chase.
Yes.
So
The game against Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and this was in
Sri
Sehwag's earlier days comparatively.
yes.
So and Sehwag still never changed as a player, mind you. He was
yeah,
always
and I
flamboyant.
think that's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
of course.
I think
these players
it's important
function
for
that
players
way
to
only,
also
yeah.
keep their natural game alive.
Yeah.
Exactly.